Hi, I'm Abigail Osry.
And I'm Emily Osry. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 14 of El Camino Reality.
This week we bring you a profile on a new Spanish teacher,
Take a look at last week's blood drive,
cover NJROTC's win,
and of course, toss it over to Josh Schaefer for this week's sports wrap-up.
And now Brian Hertzberg and my co-anchor bring you a profile on Senora Miller, a new Spanish teacher here at El Camino.
I was actually on vacation when I got the call from Senora Carolina, and she texted me and told me, okay, we need some help. We have a teacher who's very ill and she can't come to teach the classes. Would you be able to come in and fill in? At first I said, no, I plan to take a year off. I want to spend some time with my daughter. And so that was my plan. I was going to take the year off and just do some things with my daughter before she heads off to bigger and better things later on. But they called me again and said, please, we need help. I came, met the students, fell in love with your campus. Your administrators seemed very supportive. And so once I started teaching here, it was just all, the kids were really good. I first became interested in teaching actually when I stayed home with my daughter. I originally worked as a health administrator for Cedars-Sinai, and so I was actually home for about 15 years. But within those 15 years, I was doing so much volunteering at the school district, so I started working first as a substitute, then eventually as a teacher. I did a lot of teaching in Spanish 1, 2, and 3, and a little bit of 4 and a little bit of 4 AP. The reason I love teaching is that I just love being able to get students to love the language. I like that when they come out of my classes, they usually have an appreciation that they didn't have before for the language as well as for the people that speak the language.
I think Ms. Miller is like a really good teacher because you can really communicate with her if you have any problems. Like, she's really easy to communicate with, and she offers a lot of opportunities to improve your grade, and she really just wants to help you.
Basically, it's my parents. I would say they were not able to get an education, so to them, an education was everything. My dad only went to the 4th grade, and my mom, because her parents believed that girls should not be educated, only went up to the 8th grade. And because of that love for education that they instilled on us, I have loved education. And then I hope to pass that on to my students and my own kids as well. I would like my students to leave my class not only being able to at least communicate. My Spanish ones, I like them to be able to do some basic communication, but I want them to leave with an appreciation for the language. I want them to say, okay, I want to go for another semester. I want some of them to even say, okay, I'm going to do all 4 years. Speaking a second language is so important, especially once you get out into the working field. If you want to be able to compete against someone else who has basically the same credentials that you do, your being able to speak a second or third language will boost you and give you that advantage over someone else.
Last Wednesday, the American Red Cross set up their biannual blood donation center here at El Camino. Anderson Hall was packed with students willing to donate their blood to help patients in local hospitals. Jennifer Burstein, Tomas Carrasco, and Isabella Balby covered the event.
Every year, El Camino, in association with the Red Cross, holds blood drives for all students ages 16 and older. It's a great way to help the people in need.
It feels really good that I just donated blood because, it is saving 3 lives. It's a good experience. This is actually my second time donating. I donated last year with the Red Cross again, so.
We've been running blood drives here for many years. We worked with Mr. Craig, and we worked with one of the students, Charlie Halstead. We started working on this about 2 months ago. And yeah, we've been coordinating on meeting up and about planning, making sure the space is available. We're working on sign-ups. You guys are just doing, we brought Buddy the blood drop out here, the costume, to kind of get you guys excited about signing up. And then we've been talking very closely on where sign-ups are at to make sure that we have enough staff to accommodate. So.
Well, I think it's just a great experience overall. I'm in student council as well, so I'm also volunteering, so I was like, why not? Let me donate blood.
when you donate a pint of blood, you can save up to 3 people. And these guys who are doing the double red cell machine, you can save up to 6 people. So within 2 to 5 days, you guys are helping this community and giving someone the gift of life, or helping them feel better so they can spend time with family and friends, especially during holiday time. So, yeah.
Blood drive was a success. Thank you to the many students who participated and saved lives in need. And for those of you who didn't, consider blood donations. You never know when you or someone you love will need it. For El Camino Reality, this is Jennifer Burstein.
And now Pierce Richard, Alex Marcuzzi, and Jared Stein cover NJROTC's win last week at La Habra Field Meet.
Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps provides students an opportunity to become physically and mentally fit and participate in competitions between ROTC units in the Area 11 district. This past Saturday, El Camino's NJROTC unit competed at La Habra Field Meet and were able to pull through and qualify for the Area 11 Super Bowl.
As team commander, I create a 30 to 40 question test, practice test from our database that all NJROTC units have of academic questions, and I give those tests to the students that I take to competition for practice.
I make sure that team commanders are well knowledgeable about their rules in competition. We have a rule book about how competition runs, so I make sure that they read that and they know their parts depending on their teams, as well as I prepare the competition roster for our entire unit. So I basically make sure that whatever the team commanders give me as their competition roster, I compile into one whole roster.
During competition, I am responsible for knowing where the academic exam takes place, getting there 15 minutes ahead of our schedule to be ready for our test time, and making sure that I have all of my cadets prepared for the test.
The NJROTC unit's schedule includes physical training on Mondays and Fridays, uniform on Tuesdays, academics on Wednesdays, and drill, as well as a weekly test on Thursdays.
So during competition, we have multiple events. As other PE teachers have seen and PE students, we march around during Thursdays, and during those days, we teach drill, and in competition, we basically do that exact same drill, except at a higher level, at a very competitive level.
The NJROTC unit's hard work has finally paid off with their victory at La Habra Field Meet. Good luck at the Super Bowl, cadets. For El Camino Reality, this is Alex Marcuzzi.
And now let's toss it over to Josh Schaefer for this week's sports wrap-up.
On Tuesday, November 17th, the El Camino Real girls varsity volleyball team hosted the Palisades Dolphins at Taft High School in the semifinals of the CIF Los Angeles City Section playoffs. In 2014, the Dolphins defeated El Camino Real in 3 sets at ECR CHS to advance to the city championship. However, the El Camino Real Conquistadors were looking for revenge this year. The Conquistadors defeated the Dolphins in 5 sets by a final score of 3-2. They then advanced to the 2015 City Section Championship on November 21st, as second-ranked ECR would take on the top-seeded Carson Colts, who defeated El Camino Real in 5 sets in their first game of the regular season. However, the script was completely rewritten as El Camino Real swept Carson in 3 sets to win their first ever Los Angeles City Section Division I championship. Junior Kashana Williams was injured in Tuesday's victory over Palisades and was questionable about whether or not she would be able to start in this game against Carson. However, she started the match and had 8 kills and 2 aces in the victory. Sophomore Lauren Anderson had 11 kills and 2 blocks, while senior Izzy Barbera had 3 aces and 21 assists. Our player of the game was senior Trinity Goodman, who had 12 kills and 3 aces in the El Camino Real City Championship victory.
Trent, what does it mean coming back against the Carson Colts, beating them in 3 sets in the city championship after you guys dropped your first game of the season to them?
Honestly, it was kind of surprising. I expected that we would at least go to 5 with them, but the fact that we pulled out in 3 shows that we've come a long way since the beginning of the season.
You were personally incredible tonight. How do you and your team keep your composure when you start to get a lead on a team like this?
You know, we just have to stay humble, stay focused, and we can't get too cocky and too relaxed. We have to make sure that we keep on pushing because they can come back and they will come back if we didn't keep on pushing.
This is probably one of the most amazing feelings in the world. You know,
losing to them in 5 sets. It was a tough game. It was an intense game. And I feel like we got so much better since then, and we just swept them in 3 this time.
So you've still got a couple years left here. What do you expect for yourself and the progression of this program? Because this was the first city championship in program history.
You know, I feel like from here we can go anywhere, and we're losing a lot of seniors, but I think we're still going to have a strong team, and I think we're going to be here again.
You know, we kind of got our own sweet revenge, and, you know, it was kind of destiny because, you know, beating the team you lost to in your first game, it's kind of like amazing. I don't know. I'm overwhelmed.
What's it like trying to keep your composure when you're getting ahead on a team like this, the number 1 seeded team in the city section? What's that like?
You gotta just take a deep breath or 2 or 3 to just like make sure you don't make any useless errors and make sure that you just don't do anything stupid. That's it.
Coach, you guys dropped a game to this team in 5 sets, the first game of the season. What is it like coming back, beating them in 3 in the city championship?
It's amazing. There's no words that I can say right now that could really like tell you how I feel, because this was a big win for us. For us to lose that early in the season, you know, we didn't have practice time and things like that going in, and for us to be able to, you know, go through all the hardships that we had to this year to be able to win, I mean, it was just huge.
What do you see for this team next year and the progression of this program after this first city championship?
I can't even think about next year. I got to celebrate this year before I could even look at next year.
For El Camino Reality, this is Josh Schaefer.
From all of us on the crew of El Camino Reality,
Stay sharp, conquistadores.
don't forget to tell your friends to check us out on YouTube or at ecrjournalism.com.